Good morning. I will now call the public meeting of the Standing Committee on Government Operations to order. My name is Rylund Johnson. I'm the MLA for Yellowknife North and the chair of this committee. Today, committee will be holding a public hearing on Bill 37, an act to amend the Information and Protection of Privacy Act. Today's meeting is being live streamed on the Assembly's social media channels. As the Standing Committee, it is our role to review any legislation introduced into the House. Committee review stage provides stakeholders and the public with an opportunity to provide their opinions on whether they support the bill or not. It also allows the public to suggest changes for committee to consider bringing forward amendments that they think may help improve the bill. Committee considers all concerns brought forward when determining how best to proceed. I would like to remind all members and witnesses to please direct all comments and questions to myself as chair. This will help keep the meeting organized and running smoothly. I will now ask members of the Legislative Assembly to introduce themselves, starting on my left.
Caitlin Cleveland, MLA Cam Lake.
Lisa Semler, MLA Nuvik Twin Lakes.
Freedom Martzellos, MLA for Tibet.
Kevin O'Reilly, Frame Lake.
Thank you, and I will now invite Minister Simpson, sponsor of this bill, to proceed with any opening remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm pleased to be here today to discuss Bill 37, an act to amend the Access to Information and Protection of Privacy Act. Bill 37 proposes 3 amendments to the Access to Information and Protection of Privacy Act of a somewhat administrative nature. The first proposed amendment is to the definition of business day. The definition of business day does not currently account for the mandatory leave days during December and January when government offices across the GNWT, including the Information and Privacy Commissioner's Office, are closed. This amendment will ensure these mandatory leave days, in addition to weekends and holidays, are not included in the timelines prescribed under the Access to Information and Protection of Privacy Act. The second proposed amendment is technical and will clarify the Information and Privacy Commissioner's order-making authority and requirements after completing a privacy review. Finally, the third amendment is to remove the words agency and agencies from the definition of common or integrated programs. Currently, the term agency is used twice in the Act for 2 different purposes, and neither use of the word is defined. This change will not affect the intended purpose of common or integrated programs, which is to allow disclosure of personal information between public bodies for specific programs or services. The term agency will remain in the Act as a type of public body. I am pleased to answer any questions that the committee may have regarding Bill 37, and with me today I have Elizabeth Doyle, GNWT Access and Privacy Officer, and Christina Duffy, Director, Legislation Division. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. I will now, committee, do you have any questions for the sponsor of the bill? Hearing no questions, does committee agree to proceed with a clause-by-clause review of Bill 37, an act to amend the Access to Information and Protection of Privacy Act?
Agreed.
The committee has agreed to conduct a clause-by-clause review of Bill 37, an act to amend the Information and Protection of Privacy Act. There was 1 motion to be moved by committee, and I will pass that over to MLA Cleveland.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I move that Clause 2 of Bill 37 be amended by striking out the proposed definition of business day and substituting the following. Business day means any day except A, a Saturday, B, a Sunday, C, a holiday, or D, any day between December 19 and January 5, on which the majority of persons employed in the Office of the Information and Privacy Commissioner are on mandatory leave. Jour ouvrable. Thank you.
Thank you, MLA Cleveland. Motion is in order. The motion is on the floor. Does the committee agree to the motion? Question has been called. All those in favor? Motion is passed. Does the minister concur?
Yes.
Committee we will defer the bill number and title until after consideration of the clauses. Clause 1, does committee agree?
Agreed.
We amended clause 2 in the first motion, so clause 1 is agreed to. Clause 2 as amended. Does committee agree?
Agreed.
Clause 3? Does committee agree that Bill 37, an act to amend the Access to Information and Protection of Privacy Act as amended, is now ready for consideration in committee of the whole? MLA Cleveland.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I move that Bill 37, an act to amend the Access to Information and Protection of Privacy Act as amended, be reported to the Assembly as ready for consideration in Committee of the Whole. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, MLA Cleveland. The motion is in order. To the motion. Question has been called. All those in favor? The motion is carried. Bill 37, an act to amend the Access to Information and Protection of Privacy Act as amended, will be reported to the Assembly as ready for consideration in Committee of the Whole. Thank you, Minister Simpson, and I thank your staff for the back and forth work we did to get that motion and sort out the legal drafting. It's much appreciated, and the work of committee. So this concludes our public portion of the meeting.